There comes a time in every project where the next feature on the roadmap is search. And with Xata, you got 3 options. You can do regular old partial match search, the more advanced fuzzy full text search, and even AI-driven semantic search. The partial match only matches the exact term German, while fuzzy full text will allow for Germany and the capitalized German. Semantic search, though, understands the meaning behind the search term German. As we can see here with Stefan, who's written Deutschland, the German word for Germany, and V, who has chosen a German flag emoji. I've used Gatsby as the front-end framework and Gatsby functions for the server-side. You may use any client server-side stack that you are comfortable with and still be able to follow along as long as you know JavaScript. The demo consists of one search form and the same search result component configured to use the different endpoints we'll look at more closely. If you've been around long enough, you'll remember a time when all we had was partial search. First, we grab the search term from the request. Then we ask Xata to grab the first 20 accounts where either name, username, description, or location contains the search term. And we could have called it quits right here. However, remember that nice highlighting we had? To get those, let's first create a tiny helper that replaces every instance of the search term with the same term enclosed in an M tag. Then we'll use that helper function to add a highlighted version of the name and the rest of the values. Voila, we got partial match search with highlighting up and running. As someone with a wee bit of dyslexia, I love fuzzy search. I always write also when I mean Oslo, and I mean who gets Deutschland correct on the first try. For fuzzy full text search, we also grab the search term from the request, then we ask Xata to search for our search term in the accounts table. We want to target name, username, description, and location again. Our result this time around might match words that are not identical to our search term, so adding highlighting ourselves would be hard to do. Xata does know though, and by using their helper getMetadata, we get access to a highlighted version of the record. And there you have it, fuzzy search without having to leave your database. But what if a person uses different words to describe themselves than the search term we use to search for them? This is where semantic search come in. It will give us matches that are contextually the same. For semantic search, we again grab the search term from the request before transforming it into an embedding using OpenAI. Then we ask Xata to do a vector search with the search term embedding against the embedding for each account. At this point, you might go, embeddings? WTF? Luckily, you don't really have to understand it to use it. That's the beauty of a good API. But if you must know...
An embedding is a vector of floating point numbers. The distance between two vectors measures their relatedness.
So the important thing to know here is that if two embeddings are close, the input used to create those embeddings are contextually close. And figuring out if the embeddings are close is what Xata's vector search does for you. However, first you'll need to compute an embedding for each account. For this demo, I did so in a one-off batch job. You might do it any way you want. The input sent to create embedding was a string created from the account name, username, description, and location. The downside of semantic search is that there is no way to highlight exactly what is matched, sometimes making it really hard to understand why a result appears. Let's take a final look at all 3 together again. Searching for Englishmen gives us no partial matches, but one fuzzy search match as it picks up on the capitalized version in Nick's description. However, the real hero of this last example is semantic search, finding both English men and women. I hope you've enjoyed this overview of the 3 types of search that Xata supports. Check out the description for links to the official documentation and guides to get you started. And remember to subscribe for more Xata content.